Okay, so now we're going to run the principal component analysis for all the variables. And again, bring in another principal component node and just rename it to PCA for all. Okay. Connect. And we have to now examine the role of the variables. Okay, so except for manufacturing, we have rejected that. Let's look at the variables more closely. And okay, so these two are going to be rejected automatically because these two are not numeric. So PCA works only for interval variables. Okay, so this is name is nominal and type should be nominal too. Type is nominal. Okay. So next, change this to covariance and all right. Now let's look at the results. Okay, so there it is. So click the table value. And it retains only, this is a, see, it gives you only 4 principal components instead of all of it. And that's because, okay, that's what the setting is. So we have here, eigenvalue cutoff is cumulative 0.99. So with so the first 6 components gives you cumulative, here it is cumulative value. So once you reach 4, you get 99% of the variance. So that's the reason why we see only 4 of them here. You see, so here are the variance. The eigenvalue is the variance, and you see that 4th eigenvalue, that's your 4th principal component. Okay. That accounts for more than 99%. So that's the reason why we see only the table shows only 4 principal components. If we go and change, suppose if we change this to eigenvalue cutoff, say 0.9999, then you would see more of them. So if you look at the results, now you see 5 of those 5 principal components. So even though we have how many variables? You have lots of variables, okay? Just 5 variables, well actually 4 variables accounted for 99% of the variance. And when you added the 5th one, that gave you 99.99% of the variables, of the variance. Now if you want to take this principal components and use it in some other analysis, okay, oftentimes you will find data already reduced to principal components. And the principal components are given for further analysis. So if you don't want to share your original data set for confidentiality reasons, you can convert the original data into principal components and provide the principal components to your consultant or whoever for further analysis, and you can do that by saving the file. So if you use save data, we've done this before, and some people have had trouble using the save data, and that's probably because the file name prefix is not given properly. So we say serial PCA, and you can provide a library name, in which case you'll go into the library, or you can provide a folder name. So now if you run, the output of PCA will get saved into, so here is where the file will be saved. So that's your library. If you don't specify a library name, then it will be saved elsewhere. Okay, that's another piece of information that you may want to remember. If you don't specify, so for example here in the save data, suppose if you don't specify anything here, now let me use another save data, easier that way. So if you don't specify, okay, it's a file prefix, but if you don't specify a library name or a folder, then what happens? Okay. Now results, okay, you see here is where the file will be saved. Well, that's because you already have yeah, that's right. Okay, so here is where the file will be saved. Look at the folder. So where is it? So under the project folder, so inside the project folder, workspaces, okay, that folder, and then EM save, and that's where you have serial PCA train. Okay. So when you use the save node, if you don't specify a path where it should be saved, this is where the file will be. So now let's look at what gets saved in the save data. So when you save the data, what is the content of that data file? So let's create a data source, okay, with the data file that we just created, which is serial PCA underscore train. Okay. So now if you look at the data, you see there was 5 principal components are there in the data file. Okay. So the original data is not saved, only the 5 principal components are saved. So the principal component analysis is independent of any particular data mining procedure that may use or activity that you may want to perform. This is independent of that. So this is part of the data preparation stage. So you started out with 15 variables, now you have only 4 or 5, and you can use these principal components. You don't have to give a specific name or anything like that. So just use the principal components and develop your model.